Hey, what's going on? It's King Kevin Dorival. Thank you for listening to this video regarding black on black crime. It's not just going to be an ordinary black on black crime video. Those of you who don't know me, I'm King Kevin Dorival, the mentor and author of The Courage to Believe, and also the book called Seven Types of Queens That Kings Desire, which is what mainly my videos, my blogs are about these recent days. But being what's been evolving in Chicago and Baltimore and even Florida, where I am located now, South Florida to be exact, I just had to release something into the atmosphere regarding what's going on. Now, in today's video, and I'm learning to walk people through my lectures and videos now so I can be a much effective speaker. We're going to talk about the U.S. Constitution from 1787 to what's going on now up to December 2nd, 2015. Now, Laquan McDonald, as you all know, was shot and killed a year ago in Chicago, and the cop Jason Van Dyke, they didn't file charges until maybe about a year later. Not even too long ago, a couple weeks ago, they filed charges, and just the other day, December 1st, or was it November 30th, they gave him a bail. He's out on bail now on a $1.5 million bail, which he had to pay a bond of $150,000, which is a significant amount of money, which being the fact the city or the mayor or police chief or whoever gave him that length of time out on the streets to raise funds. So we got to pay attention to this. It's very significant, and people in Chicago were very right, had every right to be upset the fact that the city took that long to file those charges against Van Dyke, who cowardly shot and killed Laquan, shot him 16 times. And not just killed him, knocked him to the ground, but they kept shooting while he was on the floor. And they say out of all officers that was there, he was the only one that was doing the shooting. Now, we won't even know if this is true or not, even though the newspapers and the media is saying it. But we won't know if he was the only one shooting until the actual trial happens. I think this is going to become a federal case anyway, due to the fact that the police officers were hiding some of the footage for whatever the reason. So the FBI had to confiscate that video. But wow, what a crazy story. Now, we also have to think about Mrs. Ayanna Jones. I didn't want to forget the young queen. Her name is Ayanna. She died up there in Detroit. And unfortunately, the way that Mrs. Ayanna had passed away, I just want to make sure I got her name 100% right. The young sister deserves her name to be said, correctly during this video. But she died in her living room. Cops came in, shot in the house where she was laying down sleeping with her grandmother in the living room, and there were like two trials, and they dismissed the case. Instead of doing a third trial, the city of Detroit, or the powers to be, decided just to get rid of it. You're right, that's her name, Ayanna Jones. She died at 7 years old, young girl. The whole case dismissed. I mean, the civil case being filed right now. So my heart goes out to them. Sarah Seddon Sudi, who's a Pan-Africanist, he brought this out to our attention, not to forget her or this case, because if they're able to do that with her, then they're able to do that with any of us. And they showed it also. What I'm saying, I'm talking about the police officers, the powers that be, the government. I'm not some radicalist. I'm not some kind of conspiracy theorist. I'm talking the real and the facts. So just bear with me. Now, Corey Jones in South Florida, in Palm Beach County, he was shot and killed by a unmarked police officer. Mid of the night, I think it was like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. He was stuck on the road, and that happened. I don't know him directly, but I know of Corey Jones because I played football and ran track with his older brother who played in the NFL when we were in high school. Back in '98, I ran the 400 and the 200 and played free safety, sometimes strong safety for the football team there. I did very well. That's a whole other story. But the fact is, Clinton Jones, which is Corey Jones' brother, made a public announcement saying that black lives don't matter. All lives matter. I guess cause he said that because he has a white wife. Now, I don't know why he will go ahead and say that, and you have all these black, protesters who are screaming Black Lives Matter, and he goes and say Black Lives don't matter. I was, hey, you don't want our support, you don't want it. It is what it is. But my heart, my condolences to you and your family if he ever sees this video. Those other families see this video. Corey Jones was a musician. He was also a football and track star, and educated, and still shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, to be quite frankly, and we're gonna get into some stats and all of that. To be quite frankly, when parents back in the day, all you had to talk about was birds and the bees, dating and drugs. Now you got to talk to your kids, especially your young daughters, young black daughters and young black males. Hey, when you get in front of police officers and they stop you, this is what you do. We just want you to get back home safely. So a lot of times, I know it may be a very tense situation, especially for these young teens. I deal with young teens all the time. I'm a mentor and author. I have a nonprofit organization called Courage to Believe International. You see the information somewhere on the video, on the screen, maybe here where I'm pointing. You might see it, or you might see it down here below. But we mentor at-risk youth. We teach them how to play chess and also life skills on how to move forward beyond your current situations in life. This is something that I've been doing, serving the community for several years. So I do understand, and I understand where these kids come from. As a matter of fact, I just came from today at my old high school in Deerfield Beach High in Florida, located in Broward County, Florida here. And, I was part of a panel of judges for, young kids wanting to present their businesses or wanting to create their businesses. And across the street was my old hood, Park Ridge Court. As a matter of fact, I just put on my Instagram today. Just years later, everybody who's trying to get out the hood. Because one of the things kids in the hood have to deal with, my case in point, is police brutality or being singled out or even having drugs planted on them. I've had a gun planted on me one time when I was like 21 years old, 22 years old. In college, a police officer planted a gun in my car. You know what I'm saying? And him and his buddies, they were playing, but they actually did that. Now, how many times have a cop actually done that? If it wasn't guns, it might have been drugs. So it's very important for these kids to know their rights. And speaking of rights, not just the kids, but the grown adults as well. We got to put the attitudes to the side, especially when we're dealing with a grown man, whatever, white, black, orange, Hispanic. If they have a gun and you don't, and even if you do, it's going to be their word against yours, especially that dash cam isn't operating. We see what happened with Mike Brown and Ferguson. We see what happened with Freddie Gray up there in Baltimore. We see what happened with Corey Jones just here in Palm Beach County. This happened just in November, if I'm not mistaken, late October or November. And we see what happened in Chicago with Laquan McDonald. You seen what happened with Rodney King, back in the 90s when he got, beat down and happened there. So we have to be very careful in the way we approach the law and understanding the word and the verbiage of our rights. Now, 1787, U.S. Constitution was made, but they had to do an amendment of the 14th Amendment so that they can include rights for black people. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't part of the Constitution originally. Contrary to belief, that's the fact. It wasn't, and even with an amendment, and let me define an amendment, because a lot of us think amendment, okay, they made an amendment, this is official, this is how it's going to go down. No, amendment just means that they wanted to improve it, but it hasn't been signed. It isn't signed until it's been ratified. And so this wasn't ratified until 1868. You're talking about nearly 81 years after the 14th Amendment did they add the 14th to give us the African Americans rights in America, and then the 15th Amendment was the right to vote, African Americans for the right to vote. Because remember, we were 3/5 of a human. We wasn't complete human. We were cattle. We were property. So therefore, we weren't necessarily citizens. So we didn't have the right to pursue our dreams, happiness. Providing for your family, things like that. Those things wasn't added to the Constitution until later. Fast forward a little bit, you go into the 1964, 1965, when rest in peace, Martin Luther King was alive. He got the voting rights of 1965 done. You know what I'm saying? Which goes to show you that the 14th Amendment wasn't necessarily official. You know what I'm saying? Until it was ratified in 1868. And even then, we still had issues. So to make sure everybody, all the states were on board, Martin Luther King was able to get the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passed. And then before that, the Civil Rights of 1964, the year before, that was a monumental achievement to be able to have our civil rights, which allows you to vote on property and all those different things. Now, the reason why I mention these things is to go to show that as black people, yes, we made some progress, but you know what I'm saying, progress, but where's the power? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have the right to vote, you know what I'm saying? But the laws are against us. Yes, we have the right to sit on the bus in the front of the bus, but we're the only ones on the bus. The majority of the people on the bus. Yeah, we have the right to sit in the counters at diners and restaurants, but we don't have money to buy a sandwich. For the most, for many of us. This is something, what I just quoted was something that Dr. Amos Wilson stated in one of his lectures. And those of you who don't know who Dr. Amos Wilson is, he is the um, I guess you could say the godfather of Black on Black Crime Solutions, which is the reason why my organization started the annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. Next year in April, we're going to be doing the Black on Black Love Day, which is going to be a fun day with football, kickball, chess tournament, Black History Month. You know what I mean? April is Black History Month. And Black History Month is every month. For those of you who are back there saying, "Oh, it's February, it's February." No, every month. You heard it from King Kevin himself. Now, going to how many black deaths are there? How many black deaths are taking place? And why is it that the media, you know what I'm saying, perpetuates black on black crime or perpetuates the perception of black males being, um, you know, uh, prone to black on black violence, just violence, period. You know what I'm saying? And all of that goes to say because ever since 1980, the year I was born, I'm going to be 36 in February. Don't tell anybody. But ever since 1980 to about 2013, there's been 320 black on black murders. You know what I'm saying? That's quite a bit, And so you have to ask yourself. So if there is that many black on black crime deaths taking place, then how many are the white on white crime taking place? Now in 2008, they said that there were 1.9 million white on white deaths. So with 1.9 million and black deaths every year, we have 370,000. That very same year in 2008. That's a huge disparity between the two. So why isn't the media talking so much about white on white death, but so much on black crime? You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to really think about that, because if you think about that, then there has to be a reason, and I'm going to tell you that reason. And Hitler, back when he was around, he was a sick genius. I say sick genius because he was able to accomplish quite a bit. And a lot of people don't know it, but Hitler was actually a secret billionaire. Billionaire with a B. I mean, this dude was making money. You know what I'm saying? This dude was making a lot of money with his books. Mon Kampf, I mean, that book sold like crazy. You know what I'm saying? He was able to even make money off people using his name in magazines and papers. This man, got his name copyright, trademark, all that. But I say this because what he did was, with that publicity and money, he made the Jews seem very second rate. He made them seem, he belittled them through propaganda. And in war, anybody knows anything about war, and Dr. Umar Johnson does a great job of explaining this, but me being a historian myself, in war, what a lot of countries do, and the United States is guilty of that too, because we did that with the Japanese. They make the enemy look very foul or evil, so that when it's time to attack them, society or the supporters would be more on board with what they're saying, or not as vocal. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they have so many, the news